Hey guys, this video here is just to show you the process that I take with my rigs. I've decided to rig the character that I'm going to show you the tutorials on, and this process here took me about 2 hours. Basically the process goes skeleton bone rig first, so just placing the bones down where I want them in the right direction and making sure that the elbow has a bend in it, the knee has a bend in it, and I only have a certain amount of bones that I need in the rig. This time I decided to try out twist bones, but it didn't seem to work in this one. I have to do a little bit more testing on that particular one, but nonetheless it basically what I'm put down just then was the bone for the chest, and I don't need two separate ones. I'm only going to stick one in the middle, and I can skin the two breasts to the middle of the bone there. Alright, so the fingers probably took the longest time, but after I got it all set up and made sure that they were all linked together, so the legs linked to the hip, the shoulders linked to the top of the chest, the hair, because I decided to make something for that, is linked to the head, and now I'm just placing controllers down, the main controllers that I'm going to need. I've also decided I can also change the size of the bones, and I made sure that there's a hip control, and a world control. The world control is probably the most important control, because programmers and people who decide to stick your stuff in engines will use that as a base for showing your control. Alright, I color code all of my rigs, so the right hand side's usually green, the left hand side's usually red, and the middle is sometimes purple or blue or whatever color I feel like. Alright, I've decided to go with a lookout constraint and an orientation constraint at the same time. Now this is going to be a little bit difficult. You can have both at the same time, but I'm just going to keep it as simple as I can, so I'm only going to have the eyes to have a lookout constraint. Now basically you just have an orientation on the sphere in front of the glasses looking control, and then you go a lookout constraint at the glasses. But the problem with that is that when you move the glasses, the eyes when you rotate the glasses, the eyes don't rotate with the head, they stay in the same position. So if you put an orientation constraint on the eyes as well, probably about 50-50, maybe 80-80, they work out really well. Alright, this foot rig here is Paul Neal's triple IK leg rig. Yep, it can be found on his site. I use that one the most. It's probably the best one I've found. And I put a spring modifier on the chest, and this is what I call fake boob jiggle. Basically I just wanted to see if it would work on the hair, but it doesn't work too well. Basically it just kind of imitates gravity. Alright, what I'm doing here is just checking that everything works fine and I can animate it. Alright, I've put an orientation constraint on the middle part for the middle of the spine and the chest, just so that I can move it and it can have a different rotation to, say, the neck and the head. Okay, I'm placing controls down for the arms. I'm making sure that the shoulder blades, the shoulders itself, the elbow, the wrists, and the fingers all have separate controls, because I'm doing an FK rig for the arm here. I'm trying out orientation constraints for the middle of the arm, but it didn't turn out too well. So I decided against it, so I just deleted the whole of the arm and replaced it. Alright, this is me just doing the orientation constraint on the eyes. just to make sure that it moves with the head. And now I'm just trying to work out the controls for the arms. Alright, I've realized that I hadn't named anything throughout, and that was a bad thing. I usually am on my game about naming things constantly on the way, but it'll take a decent amount of time to name everything, so you may as well name it while you're going with it. Everything with the FK rig links up to everything else. So no matter what, everything is linked to something. Even if it's just the feet are linked to the world control, or the hands are linked to the wrist, sorry, is linked to the elbow control. It's all linked in one way or another. Okay. Now throughout this video I basically just rename everything. I change whether or not it can be scaled. You go into the link info and you can change whether or not it can be scaled, whether it can be rotated or moved. And that's really easy to do, as is renaming all of your objects really fast. You just have to be able to type a bit faster, that's all. Alright, just making sure that I've linked everything together and checking out the rig just to check if I've forgotten anything. Looks like I've forgotten the other side of the hand. Now I'm checking that I've named everything correctly and I color them all in the right color, and then I just link everything together, make sure it all fits together and moves when I say it to move, and it seems to be fine. So I think I'm just going to play with the hair a bit and I'm done. Just double check, recolor when I want to. Play around a bit, make sure it all fits, and it's done, I believe. There you go.